friends, it's Jessie here. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. Today's video is going to be something a little bit different. I am going to be taking a look at my sinking funds, and I'm going to be doing a little mid-month check-in. I totally stole this idea from my friend Marlene over at Snow Gardener 307, so go and check out her videos if you haven't already. She and her husband are on a debt-free journey, and I love watching her videos. She's making big money moves over there. Highly recommend her channel. So Marlene does a mid-month check-in with her sinking funds just to stay on top of everything, and I thought, now there's something that I need to try. So I have my budget planner in front of me. If you're not familiar with my planner setup, I have a big Happy Planner disc bound system here, the metal Happy Planner discs and the cover, but all of my inserts here are a combination of Budget Mom inserts as well as some inserts I've made for myself, plus some pages from an Erin Condren monthly planner. And if we flip here to July, you can see that I set up this Erin Condren calendar, and I haven't really been using it because I have been using and loving the printable version that I made for myself, which you can see here. So I'm kind of using a combination of things, playing around with things so I can really get a feel for what I want to do in July. The sinking fund setup that I've been using is here though. So I started out the month kind of keeping track of transactions, and very quickly I stopped doing that. So that's one of the things that I really want to do while I'm checking in with my sinking funds, is update my transaction log. I'm always really good about updating the little card that I keep with my sinking funds. So if you're not familiar, I keep all my sinking funds in this little pocket rainbow accordion file, and I have the fund and I have the little index card. I always keep track of the money going in to and coming out of my sinking funds here on this card, but I'm not always great about remembering to update the transaction log. So as we kind of go throughout this, I check in with my funds, I figure out, you know, what I have in there. I'm also going to be updating my transaction log. So that's kind of the point of this video. Hopefully you guys will enjoy it, and hopefully this will help me to discern what I want to do with my sinking funds for the second half of July. So I'm going to start out with my first sinking fund here, which is my camping sinking fund. I started out the month, as you can see here, with $822, and we've added quite a bit of money in there since then, but we haven't really taken anything away. Let me adjust this lighting a little bit, see if that helps, and let me zoom you guys in a smidge. So yeah, we started with $822 and we have deposited a total of $150. So here on my little sinking funds tracker, what I'm going to do is, this is going to be my mid-month check-in, and then I'm going to do this again at the end of the month, and that'll be on the second half of this page. So that's kind of how I've decided to handle that. So for camping, we, as you can see from my card, have added $150. We haven't taken anything away. Decided I'm going to write in this pretty purple pen because I have so many of these erasable, fun colored ink pens, and I only ever use black, and that's boring. So we're going to say that we added $150. We did not take anything away. And where is my calculator? I didn't bring my calculator here, so give me just a second. Be right back. Okay, so I grabbed my calculator. Sorry about that, you guys. I have been so scatterbrained today. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. This video is set to be posted this evening at 6, and I'm just now kind of finding my bearings to sit down and film. It's been crazy hectic here the last couple of days. I tell you, I don't know how all of these amazing YouTuber friends of mine do it when they're working a full-time job and they're managing a side hustle and they're running a YouTube channel and they still have time for their family and their friends. I am struggling, and I don't even work full-time. So kudos to you if you were able to juggle all of those things, because I have not got it figured out just yet. Anyways, So yeah, we had 822 at the start of the month. We added 150, and that means we have a total of 972, which is on my card here. I'm just going to be double checking my math because you guys know I'm terrible at math. So then our ending balance is going to be 972, and I'm just going to write here that this is the mid-month check-in. We're going to count this up and make sure that's what I have. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 550, 600, 650, 700, 750, 800, 850, 900, 950, 970, 71, 72. Okay, so that's that. I did not have any money go out of the sinking fund, so I don't need to write down any transactions. The way I handle my transaction log is I just write in the money that is spent, not the money that is added. So I just like to have this transaction log so that I can keep track of long-term spending. I always write everything on this little index card, but the thing about the index card is, you know, there's only so much that fits here, and then I just throw this away. So if I want to keep track of things longer than, you know, the length of this index card, I need to keep the transaction log. So that's kind of why I do that. Hopefully that makes sense. I know it might seem redundant to some of you to have it written in multiple places, but it works for me. And that's the great thing about personal finance. It's personal. You can do things any way you want to. Okay, so next up we have my car sinking fund, which I have here. I started out the month with $487. You can see here, that's where I started. I added $300 from my gas sinking fund. Actually, you know what? When I did this, I never updated this. I actually started this month with $787. When I sat down and filmed my sinking fund setup video, I hadn't decided whether or not I was going to put that $300 from gas in here, but I did end up doing that, so my beginning balance should be $787. It's a good thing I'm checking in here. So we took $200 away and we added it to our subscriptions. So I did write that transaction down here, so at least I have some of my transactions tracked. So we started with $787, we spent $200, but then we added $25 and $5, and according to my little card here, that means we have $617. Let's just double check that. So $787 minus $200 plus $5 plus $25 is indeed $617, so that's good. We're gonna write that we added $30. We took away $200 for a total of $617. And I'm just going to count this up. 150, 250, 350, 450, 550, 70, 90, 600, 5, 10, 15, 16, 17. Okay. So that is good to go. We'll just put this back in here and we will pull out celebrations, which is the next category. So when I set up my sinking fund tracker, we had $630 in our celebrations envelope here. We added, it looks like, a total of $160, and we took $50 away in spending. So I'm just going to write in then that we added $160 and we took away $50. I bought a graduation gift. Actually, I just gave cash for a graduation gift, so that was $50. And according to my card here, that means we have $740 in here. I'm just gonna double check that. Yep, that's accurate, so $740. And I'm really quickly just going to write that transaction in here. So on 7/17. These dates are going to be all out of order, but that's okay. I took money out of celebrations. And that was $50 for Rhiannon's graduation. Okay, there we go. And this is fun too because it gives you guys a little peek into where my sinking fund money goes. I know I'm always interested in how much people save for sinking funds and where they're spending it and that sort of thing. So hopefully you guys will find this interesting. If you do not find this interesting, you can let me know that too in the comments, and I won't film it again next week, or next month rather. But I'm definitely going to be doing this mid-month check-in, at least on my own, if not sharing it with you guys, because I think this is valuable. Okay, so clothing. There has been some movement here in clothing. We started out the month with nothing in here, and we have deposited a total of $110. We have spent nothing, but that's going to change because I definitely have some shopping to do here. So I might actually consider bulking this up a little bit more. My husband needs new tennis shoes. I just went and got new tennis shoes. So I actually have spent some of this money. I just haven't reconciled yet. The way I handle my sinking fund transactions a lot of times is I will just use my debit card or my credit card in this case, make the purchase, and then I'll pay the card using the fund. So I've already spent $55 or $60 of this, and my husband still needs sneakers as well. So this is likely going to get drained here soon, but I definitely need to be keeping in mind that I need to bulk this up because my son's going to need back to school clothes. So this is why this mid-month check-in is valuable. I can really keep an eye on where my funds are and really think about what I want to do in the coming weeks. I've always done it once a month for that reason, but checking in even more frequently I think is going to be valuable for me. We'll see. Okay, so that means that we have $110 total. I'm just going to count this up. 110, that was easy peasy. And this will go back here. I think next time if I do this mid-month check-in on camera, I will also use this opportunity to exchange my bills. I didn't think to do that this time, but definitely something I want to do next time. Okay, so for our home sinking fund, we started out the month with $40. You can see we've had quite a bit of movement here. So we deposited 10, and then the next week we deposited 40, and then we also deposited an additional $100 here, as you can see. Then we have done some spending as well. So 60 of this was for lawn care. For multiple weeks of having our grass cut, we pay $20 every time our grass gets cut. The gentleman that cuts our grass hadn't been paid in a while. He's been coming and getting it done for us, and we just keep like missing each other when it came time to you know, make that payment. So I was able to catch him and give him that, and then $30 of this is just like a few home necessities that we needed. So let's see here. I can do this math in my head, I think, but let's just 10 plus 40 plus 100. So we deposited a total of 150 so far this month. And then we spent 80. And according to my card, that means I should have $100 here, so we'll double check that. 40 plus 150 minus 80 is a total of 110. So what did I do wrong? 40 plus 150 minus 80 is 110, and I definitely only have 100 here, so maybe I did some math wrong here. We started out with 40. We deposited 10. That brings it to 50. We deposited 40. That brings it to 90. We deposited 100, that brings it to 190. We took out 60, that brings it to 130. And we took out 30, and that brings it to 100. So what the heck am I doing wrong here? I'm sure you guys are like laughing at me, but I'm telling you the math is not adding up here. What did I do wrong? Okay, 40 plus 150 minus 80. Oh, because I didn't take out 80. Dummy. You guys, it's okay if you were laughing at me. I took out 90, not 80, because 60 plus 30 is not 80. Okay. That means that that $100 that we have in there is accurate. I'm just a little out of it today. It's okay. I'm camera shy. As soon as the camera goes on, I cannot add or subtract apparently. So on 7/17, we took out $60 from our home category. And this was for lawn care. And on the 20th, we took out 30 for home essentials. And this is a little bit confusing. I have a home sinking fund that I sometimes pull money from for home essentials. But I also sometimes take my home essentials money out of my grocery budget. I don't get too caught up in semantics about where the money comes from. If I'm shopping at Walmart and I'm buying groceries and I pick up toilet paper at the same time, I just include that all under the groceries umbrella. But if I go to Walmart and I'm only buying home essentials, like for instance, this time I bought toilet paper and I bought paper towels and a few other odds and ends, and it was all just home stuff. So I just pulled that out of my sinking fund to take care of that. I don't get too caught up in semantics, like I said. So that takes care of that. Home has $100 as expected. It took a little bit of time to get there with the math because math's not my strong suit, but we figured it out in the end. Okay, so next up we have medical. And in this case, we have added some money to our medical fund, but we haven't made any withdrawals, so that's good. Our medical fund started out at 0. We added a total of $65. We took nothing away, and wait, see, look at me trying to... Why am I trying to do mental math? I need to use my calculator, even if it's just 2 and 2, I swear. We added $45. For a total of $45. And that is what we have here, $20.45. So that was easy peasy. You see why I use erasable pens in my budget planner? Because I make a lot of mistakes. Alright, next up we have pets. Our pets category started out with 0. We've made just a couple of deposits, no withdrawals. So we have deposited a total of $35, and that is a total of $35 in that fund. 20, 25, 30, 35. That is indeed what I have, so that's good. I like it when everything works out and it's simple. I don't have to strain my brain too much. Okay, so for the school category, we started out with $30. We have made a couple of deposits, no withdrawals again, so that's easy with my transaction log. Let's see, I added a total of $35. I did not take anything away. 30 plus 35, that's 65. So there's that 65 I was trying to do earlier. 20, 40, 50, 60, 65. Okay. That's all good to go. Next up, we have spending. So for my spending category, I started out the month at $278. And apparently when I set this sinking fund transaction log up, it wasn't quite July yet because I did this on the 23rd of June, and then I spent some money still in June. So I'm going to go ahead and include that here in my sinking funds transaction log. It's fine as long as I have it dated. It's not that big of a deal, but I just need to make sure I'm keeping that in mind when I'm doing these check-ins. Like, I need to look at where I started and look at the transactions after that, and not necessarily just look for things dated in July. So that's a good mental note for me to have. Okay, so $278 in spending. We took out $200, but we added $125. So let's just double check my math here, make sure that's accurate. 278 plus 125 minus 200 is 203, and that is what my card says. So that's good. We're just going to count this quickly, make sure that's what I have here. 50, 100, 20, 40, 60, 80, 90, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 200, 201, 202, 203. So that's good to go. I'm just going to go ahead and slip this back in here. Oh, but I need to write in my transactions. So it was $625. So yeah, that definitely would have confused me if I wasn't paying attention, seeing that this is technically my July transaction log, but there was a transaction that happened in June. That just is because of when I was able to set up this sinking funds log. I started it a little bit earlier than usual because that last week in June I knew I wasn't going to be adding anything into our sinking funds because we were on vacation. Now it's all coming back to me. So this was spending. It was $200, and it was hubby's tools. He is still trying to save up and replace a lot of his hand tools and things for work, so that's that. All right. Next up we have subscriptions. There was definitely a lot of movement in subscriptions, I can tell you that with certainty. So we started out with nothing in our subscriptions. We took and added $200 from the car sinking fund. I talked about that in one of my budget videos. We had an abundance of cash in our car sinking fund, and I wanted to pay some of my subscriptions up front, do them annually. So I took some of that abundance of cash that we had in the car sinking fund and I transferred it over here to subscriptions in order to make that happen without hurting my weekly budget. So we took $200 and we added that. So I'm just going to start with all the additions. We added 200, we added 15, and we added 25 for a total of $240. And now for the what we took away. So we took $50 and bought a Netflix gift card. We took $15 and paid HBO Max. We took $60 and paid Hulu up front, and $80 to pay Disney Plus for the year. So we spent a grand total of $205. So we started out with nothing. We added $240. We subtracted $205, which means there should be $35 in this account. That is what it says here on my card. That is what I have here in cash. So the only thing left to do then is just to write the transactions in. So let's drag this guy over so you can see what I'm doing here. So I have already written in some of these. So I wrote in that we bought the Netflix gift card. So I'm just going to put a little tiny check mark here so I know that I wrote that in. I wrote in the HBO Max. And that was it. So I need to write in the 60 for Hulu. I'm just going to turn my planner a little bit because it's easier. I know it's not as pretty to look at this way, but my apologies. I got to be able to write. So the fund is subscriptions. The transaction date is the 12th. We took 60 for Hulu, and we also took 80 that same day for Disney Plus. Okay, so that takes care of all of my transactions. I'm all up to date here, which is good. I feel better about that. The only other fund we need to check in with is YouTube, and I already know there was no money taken out of YouTube. I only take money out of my YouTube sinking fund once a year when I pay my taxes. For the rest of the year, it just sits here, and the fund builds and builds and builds. So I take 30% of all of my income for the month from YouTube, and that's what gets put in here. I actually have not made any deposits to my YouTube category because I haven't been paid yet. YouTube or Google AdSense really pays just once a month, and I will be getting that paycheck this week, and that will be added. Money will be added to this fund then. But for now, I started the month with $8.51, and I'm going to end the month, or the mid-month, I guess, check in with the same $8.51. We didn't take any money out. We didn't add any money to. So the only thing left to do then is just get a total. Well, and put this back. That takes care of that. This is going to go back into my safe for safekeeping, and we're just going to really quickly add up this total so we can get a grand total of how much we've added in the first couple of weeks of July, how much we've taken away, and our total. So I will be right back. I'm not going to make you watch this tediousness. Okay, friends, so that was an embarrassingly long time it took me to make sure all of this was even. I kept not coming out even, and I figured out that I had my beginnings total written in wrong because I had changed this car total. So it wasn't adding up because I was $300 short in my beginning total. So I went through and added everything up and figured everything out. So now this should come out even. So if we take the $3,438 that we started the month with, now that I have that proper total, and we add the $1,080 we've added, we subtract the $745 we've spent, that gives us a grand total of $3,773, and that does all work out. That is exactly what my ending balances added up to. So this is all good. Everything was balanced. I only had a couple of little mistakes here and there that I caught, but I'm so happy that I was able to catch them, and by checking in this extra time, that saved me a lot of headache later on in the month. I'm excited about that. And it's also really good to see. I kick myself sometimes and I put myself down thinking I'm not adding enough money to our sinking funds, but we've only added money into our sinking funds a couple of weeks, and we added over $1,000. So that is nothing to be kicking myself for. That's exciting. Granted, some of this money was just moved around a little bit. We took some money out of one sinking fund and moved it to another, but still, I need to stop kicking myself. That's great progress. And I'm feeling really good about this mid-month check-in. So thank you so much for coming along with me, watching me struggle, and listening to me vent a little bit about my inability to use a calculator and add things properly. If you enjoyed this video and you would like to see me continue to do a mid-month sinking fund check-in here on my channel, leave me a comment down below and let me know, or if you think it's redundant and I don't really need to do that, you can leave that down below as well. I'd love to hear your feedback. Thanks so much for watching. If you liked this video, give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. I post new budgeting and lifestyle content here on my channel every single weekday. I'd love to have you come back, check out my other videos. It would mean the world to me. And I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye, friends!